In this jazz guitar lesson, I'm going to teach you the chords to the iconic bluesy ballad, Cry Me a River. Now, all of the lesson resources are linked in the description below. Now let's get on with it. Firstly, I think we should start with a bit of background about this song. So it was written in 1953 by Arthur Hamilton, and he wrote this tune for a film called Pete Kelly's Blues. Check out the cast for that film, it's absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, Cry Me a River, it didn't make the film. And it wasn't until 2 years later that Julie London, accompanied by Barney Kessel on guitar and a double bass player, would record what for me is the most iconic version of this song. Barney Kessel's accompaniment is just a masterclass in accompanying a singer. And the intro is pretty legendary too. I would also put that recording down as one of my favourite examples of jazz guitar tone. So Julie London was the first one to record it, but it was actually originally intended for Ella Fitzgerald. She would later record it a few years later with a certain Herb Ellis on guitar, also a version I urge you to listen to. Now, it's very much a torch song, so a sentimental ballad sung in a melancholic way, but what I really love about it is it's a ballad, but it's got a real bluesy quality to it. And both Barney Kessel and Herb Ellis, in my opinion, really draw out the emotion of the song in their guitar playing. Now, in terms of the form, it's your pretty standard AABA, each section being 8 bars, 32 bars in total, and I've written it with first and second time endings on the A section. As I said at the top of the lesson, all of the important links are in the description below. There you will find my chart, a PDF of that, the chord shapes that you're going to need to play this, as well as a link to my Patreon page, where this is the standard of the month, where for Cry Me a River there is Barney Kessel's iconic comping broken down, there's a chord melody arrangement, there's a arpeggio study, and a beginners and intermediate solo, so check that out below. So let's start by looking at the chord shapes you're going to need to play this one. Now, the chords I'm about to show you, I've done them in diagrams like this. Here's an example. So this is an A minor 7, and I've labelled the fingers to use on the dots themselves, suggested fingers you might find alternate ways work better for you, what strings to mute, and also at the bottom you'll see they're labelled the intervals. That's really important over time if you can, rather than just playing shapes, to appreciate what intervals it's made up of and where the fifth is, where the root is, and so on. So A minor 7 off the E string, A7 also off the E string, B minor 7 off the A string, B minor 7 flat 5 off the E string, B major 7, B dominant 7th, and that same chord but with a sharpened 5th, so B7 sharp 5, C sharp minor 7 flat 5, D7, now there's a group of E minor based chords that we're going to need to play this song. Starting with this triad, spread triad, root 5, flat 3. Now this one, to play it, especially if you want to play it with a plectrum, you're going to need to mute the G string, particularly in between. So either the angle of the ring finger can kind of like rest against it, or the first finger curls, applies pressure to the A string, but it then curls across the other strings below to mute it. I'm doing both, so this is kind of the first finger as an insurance policy, if you like. This ring finger is, rather than being dead upright, it's resting against the G string to kill it. We're also going to need E minor with a sharpened 5th. The 5th is on the D string. We raise that note by a fret, we get a sharp 5. It's a bit more of a physically challenging shape to play, and I've labelled the fingers on there of how to do it. The next chord, E minor 6, we're going to raise that note, which we could keep going up like that, but that I figure is quite a stretch for most people, so I put it like this. That's E minor 6. Then the final E minor 7 final E minor we're going to need is E minor 7, like that. We also need E7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, F sharp 7, F sharp minor 7, G major 7, and G6, and lastly G sharp minor 7 flat 5. There's quite a few chords in this one, and you see here's all the chords on the screen, there's 20, but there's a lot of shapes being used or varied ever so slightly, so it's not as bad as it first looks, I promise you. Now you might have your own favourite voicings. I've just put that together in a way that I think comes together quite well and it's quite accessible. Now let's look at the order of the chords in the A section. So the A section starts out with this minor ascending sequence. So we're going to go E minor, triad root, 5th, flat 3. We're going to raise the note on the D string up to the sharp 5 for the second chord, up to a C sharp, the 6th for the third chord, and then up to the flat 7 for the fourth chord. 2 beats on each chord, so going 1, 2, change, 3, 4, change, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going from E minor, the 5th is on the D string, raise that by a semitone to the sharp 5, and then we're going to go to the 6th. You could do it on the D string, but I put it onto the G string now to make it easier so it's less of a stretch. So it's E minor 6, up semitone to E minor 7. So with each chord changed there, the root and the third, E and G, they're staying the same, but the 5th starts out as a B, goes to a C, the sharp 5, then to C sharp, the 6th, and then to D, the flat 7. So there's 2 beats on each chord there. You could pick them like Barney Kessel. Then we're going into A minor 7, 2 beats, D7, 2 beats, to G major 7 for 2 beats, and then we're going to have a quick F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, which is going to take us to B minor 7 flat 5, to E7, bar of A7, A minor 7, D7, resolving to G6, and then we're going to go F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7 with a sharpened 5th for a bit more tension to ping us back to the next A section. Couple things to notice there: in most bars we've got more than one chord. Where we've got 2 chords in a bar, we're changing on beats 1 and 3, so like 1, 2, then 3, 4. Where we've got 3 chords in the bar, we're tending to do 2 beats on the first one, 1, 2, and then a quick 3, 4. So it's 2 beats for the first chord, then 1 beat, a chord on beat 3, on beat 4. A7's a bit of an outlier there because it gets a whole bar to itself. The second A section is exactly the same. So the E minor bit, A minor, D7, G major 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, B minor 7 flat 5 to E7, whole bar of A7, A minor 7, D7, G6, and then we're going to get this quick C sharp minor 7 flat 5, F sharp 7, which you can probably hear sounds a little bit different to what we've had so far, because it's taking us into the B section, which has a slightly different feel. So the B section centers around this B minor 7 chord. We start there, and then we're going to go C sharp minor 7 flat 5, 2 beats, F sharp 7, and then a bit more going on in this bar, B minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, back to the C sharp to the F sharp, back to B minor, back to the C sharp and the F sharp, and then the surprise chord here, B major 7 to F sharp minor 7, not minor 7 flat 5, this is a lot brighter than the minor 7 flat 5, so just a regular F sharp minor 7 to B7 with that sharpened 5, again for a bit of tension. And that's our B section. You are then into the third A section, which is the same as the first one. Now, one heads up I want to give you: if you were playing this with someone else and you want to finish the song, do not play the last 2 chords, the F sharp to the B7. Those 2 chords are to set up going back to the beginning. So if you were trying to finish the song, go A minor 7, D7 and finish on the G. Otherwise you'll just be committed to go around again and that can be quite frustrating when you're trying to finish a song. Having broken it down, let's piece that all together. I'll play that for you in time, close up. 1, 2, 3, 4. To go back to the beginning, you would then play those last two chords, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 and the B7. If you wanted to finish the song though, at the end, just finish on a G. G6. Could go to a G dominant for a bit of a bluesy ending, but what you don't want to do on the last time through is play the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 B7, because that just sets you back to go to E minor. Now if you have any questions about today's lesson, then please leave them below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Please do check out my Patreon page. There's tons of extra stuff related to Cry Me a River over there this month, as well as all the materials from previous standards covered on my channel. But thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you take care.